Hey, it's Robin from The Adventure Begins, and I love to help people who are just struggling to make it through each day feel better so that they can fully participate in all life's great adventures, because there's nothing worse than not being able to do everything that you want to do. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about decluttering, because if you've been watching along, I am in the middle of trying to get my house in order, and a big part of that is just clearing stuff out, not just reorganizing the stuff that I have, because there's just too much stuff to keep it neat and tidy. We don't need it all. It's just bad habits of letting things pile up, not having a home of their own, and not putting things back where you get them from. So here's my tips for getting started, because it is an overwhelming process, and it stopped me from getting started for quite a while because I would just look around and think, there's so much. I actually don't think I can do the whole house. Like, if you look at the whole house, our basement is a dumping ground. You look at everything and you think, I will never get through it, so why even bother starting, right? But if you don't start, you're never going to get anywhere. So what I had to do is I had some advice from a friend of mine who does this, is more of an expert at decluttering than I am. She lives, has a much tidier, minimalist home, and so she said we need to get a win right away, and her suggestion was to start with my closet. And at first I was like, I don't need to start with my closet because I don't really have many clothes, and I don't really need to do that, but sure, let's do that because that seems like an easy thing. So that's where we started. We went through my closet, and the ideal way to do it, and it depends how much time you have, so the ideal way to do it, and the way that we did it for the closet, was to actually remove absolutely everything from it. And I laid it all out on my bed into, piles of shirts and pants. And if you don't have time to do that all at once, you could just take out your pants all at once. And the idea behind that is that you see how much stuff you have in each category. So it helps you with the, identifying what to keep and what to give away. But we started with the closet, got that totally done, and it felt so amazing to have that done. And then I moved on to just my night table because I didn't have much time. I had about an hour, and so I had a couple drawers in there that I could do. And then I had a couple drawers in my dresser that I could go through. And then I started with my bathroom. I did a couple of drawers there. So it's just small things that you can do a little bit at a time, and you just get some small wins that build up some momentum and keep you going. It's really, really important to do that. The next thing that's important is maintaining that momentum. So sometimes I'll go to another room and I'll be like, wow, this is going to be a lot of work. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle this. And just going back to my bedroom, which I have completed now, my bedroom and mostly my bathroom. I still have shampoo bottle issues. When I come back here and, just feel how it feels to have things cleared out, tidy, and it just, feels so good. That's re-energizing for me. And so it helps me keep going and go to the next space. The order, I read the Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, and that's kind of how this whole thing started. And she recommends doing things in a certain order. You start with your clothes, because clothes are usually we're less attached to. It's kind of an easier thing to start with. It's an easier win. And then books, and then papers, which are a sticking point for me. So I am not looking forward to that part. Then miscellaneous items, so like everything else kind of thing. And then the last thing you're gonna do is mementos, because say you get out your, try to start with your pictures, right? You're gonna get overwhelmed. You're not gonna know what to keep and give away. If you're just starting this process like I am, you're probably not very good at it yet. And so you need to develop some skills before you do the harder stuff. So start with the easier stuff and progress to the harder stuff, because otherwise you're just gonna get stuck and not continue on. And that's happened to me in the past with papers, trying to start with papers, and you just aren't getting any wins. You feel like you're just spinning your wheels, and you just end up quitting. Another really important thing is scheduling time, like everything else. If you don't make time for it, it's not just gonna happen. It's not like you're just magically gonna go, oh look, I have 3 hours free today that I'm gonna declutter in. I mean, that doesn't happen in my life anyway. And most of us are super busy, right? So look at your schedule, and hopefully you have a schedule. And if you don't have a schedule, I didn't for a long time, but if you don't have a schedule, I would suggest making a schedule a weekly schedule or a daily schedule. I find it easy. It helps me to first thing in the morning write down what, you know, my schedule, my plan for the day. And I don't always follow it 100% because life happens, but schedule in there where you can declutter and make it like an appointment with yourself that you have to keep, that you cannot give up on. And if you only have 15 minutes a day, just schedule in 15 minutes. If you have maybe twice a week, you have a couple spots where you can do 2 hours or 3 hours, then that's going to give you more bang for your buck. You're going to get more accomplished, and you're going to, you know, that's going to help you be more effective. But if you only have 15 minutes a day, go with that. You just need that forward momentum. And another thing that it's really hit home with me is that change begins with me. And it's been hard to accept this because, you know, it's like there's something wrong with my kids because they don't pick up after themselves, and I just wish they would. But I think I am not setting enough of an example, because sometimes I don't hang up my coat, and sometimes I leave my shoes in the middle of the floor, and sometimes, you know, I leave stuff that groceries or whatever, that don't have to be put away right away, like that aren't fridge stuff. I do put those things away right away. I leave them out. I don't do them right away. And so, or, you know, there's something that I've had out that I just don't put away in its own spot, and I'm not setting a good enough example. And so with this process, I think it's important to work on me first and my habits, because there's a lot of habits that we have that we're probably not even aware of that have gotten us into this cluttered space we're in. And so we need to work on those habits before we can work on, you know, their habits. So me sitting down with my kids and saying, here's the job, here's the thing. We're gonna all like keep everything clean, and this is what you have to do. I need to go through that process first so that I understand it fully. I know what it's like, and I can relate to them more. And I have to figure it out and get good at it so that I can teach them how to do it. So it's kind of nice to just be like, okay, I don't have to worry about anybody else or anybody else getting on board. I just have to worry about myself and changing myself. And so that's been like a total mind shift for me, because when I started this, I don't know, like a couple of years ago, I was, you know, I got frustrated because nobody else was doing what I thought they should do. But I'm just gonna worry about myself and go from there. So those are my best tips for how to get started. And of course, the most important thing about getting started with anything is just start. Don't worry about if it's perfect or if you're doing it 100% right, or if it's like, you know, exactly the way it needs to be. Just start, just get going, just get it done. You know, start with one small thing, one small win, and move forward every day. So I hope this is helpful. And, you know, if you're going through the same kind of journey as me, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any tips to share, because you've already gone through this journey, trust me, I need those. So please share. And, you know, I'd love it if you'd share this video so that maybe it can help some other people who might be going through the same kind of journey as me. So thanks very much for joining in and watching this, and have a great day.